każdy poszczególny rząd kraju członkowskiego, co by chciał, zadać sobie to pytanie. Także wydaje mi się, że po prostu z czystych pragmatycznych powodów na pewno Szkocja pozostała.
Thank you very much. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the second part of your question there was in relation to the perception of the Labour Party siding with the Tories, in their own words, and of President Obama's intervention as well.
First, in terms of the Labour Party's support and no vote in this referendum, the Labour Party has never supported independence in our entire history. So, you know, there's nothing new in that. No one dislikes the Conservatives more than the Labour Party, so, you know, certainly I'll be campaigning hard to have Miliband elected as the UK Prime Minister at the next election, and I hope and anticipate that will be the case. My key message tonight was that, you know, Poland has a great friend in Scotland and will have, irrespective of the referendum, but it has a stronger, more effective friend in the United Kingdom as well. And President Obama has said such things as has many others, so I was using him to articulate that point. In terms of also the point about the Scottish pound not being accepted in the rest of the UK, I find that as frustrating as anyone else when I go to the United Kingdom, but the pound is still our shared currency, pound sterling is still our shared currency across the United Kingdom, and I want to make sure it stays that way. Just to pick up briefly on one thing that Derek mentioned just about saying that we had the UK government has no influence over the Bank of England. Well, the Chancellor of the Exchequer in the UK government appoints the members of the Monetary Policy Committee and also sets targets, so there's significant influence from the United Kingdom government over fiscal and monetary policy as set by the Bank of England. But I'll let David respond to the points. Oh, sorry.
Więc jeżeli chodzi o Partię Pracy, tak, laburzystów, moja partia nigdy nie wspierała niepodległości, tej kwestii niepodległości, i też uważam, że jeżeli chodzi o to, że tutaj współpracujemy razem w tej kwestii, takie partia konserwatywna, wydaje mi się, że Partia Pracy nigdy nie była większym wrogiem partii konserwatywnej. Ja będę oczywiście wspierał pana Milibanda w następnych wyborach, tak, jako lidera partii. I tak jak powiedziałem, kiedy powiedziałem, że Szkocja oczywiście ma przyjaciela w Polsce, jeżeli chodzi o kwestię referendum niepodległościowego w Szkocji, a mówiłem, a ma mocniejszego przyjaciela w Wielkiej Brytanii. I o to mi tutaj chodziło, jeżeli chodzi o ten kontekst słów prezydenta Obamy. Jeżeli chodzi o walutę, no to oczywiście tutaj też ubolewam na tym, że waluta szkocka, czy funty nie są przyjmowane w reszcie kraju, ale jeżeli chodzi o nominalnie jednak tak mamy nadal wspólną walutę i chcemy mieć pewność, że tak pozostanie.
I was making the point that the Chancellor, the UK Chancellor, appoints the members of the Monetary Policy Committee and also sets targets for the Monetary Policy Committee. So the UK government does have significant influence over fiscal and monetary policy.
Jeżeli chodzi o stopy procentowe, to chciałem po prostu tutaj wspomnieć, że to jednak brytyjski minister, tak, on powołuje, wyznacza członków Rady Polityki Pieniężnej, tak to przykład na polski, tak, i również on wyznacza ich cele, tak, więc mam tutaj całkowicie moc sprawczą, jeżeli chodzi o tę kwestię.
Thank you very much. Any more questions? Yeah, feel free if you want, if it's easier, you can ask from there and then we can shout it out, or if you've got a few points you want to make.
Shared piece of encouraging you went door because it's kind of, for both sides kind of portray all the kind of discussion and stuff like that. So that's just to remark. But on the other hand, I agree with Meyer. Question to the user, just because to me, both of them is a little so that changes. And I guess you so the first thing is budget. As you said about affordability of Scottish government, how come, and how big a share, what's more the rest of the UK will be spent on the setting new infrastructure, at least embassies all over the world. You have to split every single department. You have to have new infrastructure. And at the moment, almost 20% of working population is employed in public services. Where do you take those people to those institutions? Proszę tłumaczyć. Na początku tego wyzwania pana z Labour, która Polska została przygotowana, co do pana pytanie o budżet, czyli w jaki sposób jak dużą część z tego, co Szkocja zarabia więcej na osobę, Szkocja będzie musiała wydać na stworzenie nowych instytucji, praktycznie rozdzielenie wszystkiego od Wielkiej Brytanii, a także na przykład na taką śmieszną rzecz jak ambasada budowa świata. I have 5 more questions.
Joyce.
Well, I don't think we'll be watching the debate at 8:30 tonight, then we'll be doing here as we go back and forth. But the first question is really important on, you need to say that now, the budget. I'll go straight to the answer. Much of the infrastructure in terms of Scotland's civil service and public services is already in place, is already here. The areas in which we want greater control, we would be looking for our share of what we already paid for in terms of the United Kingdom at the moment, and that, of course, those costs would be a matter of negotiation. Because we said to the UK government, there's UK national debt, we should take our fair share of that, but with the debt comes the assets. So we would discuss that through, but we believe we already pay our fair share at the moment for the services in Scotland. And you gave an example on embassies, but we reckon in terms of our presence we would need around 70 to 80 embassies, and again we pay our share towards the UK embassies, and we believe that 70 or 80 is both affordable and the right balance for Scotland. So we've already got some infrastructure for the areas that's currently devolved, and there would be the completion of that on independence, fulfilling our full powers. But essentially we're already paying for it in our contribution to UK costs at the moment. You're right, I can't give you a pounds and pence absolute figure, because that would be a matter of negotiation with the UK government. A więc wchodząc przed temat, jeżeli chodzi o budżet, my oczywiście mamy już pewne dziedziny publicznych służb, które płacimy, już są gotowe, tak, i za które my płacimy. Większą inne kwestie tam, gdzie może rzeczy są jeszcze będziemy musieli oczywiście pewne inne oddziały stworzyć, to muszę powiedzieć, że my już tak płacimy pewną część tak, na to, więc wydaje mi się, że będziemy mogli z tych środków też skorzystać, trzeba wziąć się pod uwagę. Kiedy na przykład mówimy o długu publicznym w całej Wielkiej Brytanii, my teraz już też płacimy pewną jego część, wydaje mi się, że sprawiedliwa jest to część. Na przykład jeżeli chodzi o, tak, będzie potrzeba stworzyć jakieś może od 70 do 80 ambasad. My też już, jeżeli chodzi o tę kwestię, płacimy jaką część na te cele do Wielkiej Brytanii. Więc tak, mamy już pewną w niektórych działach infrastrukturę całą zbudowaną, tak, a za niektóre inne rzeczy mam nadzieję, że w w tych częściach, które płacimy, już dodajemy do budżetu Wielkiej Brytanii, znajdą się na to środki. Oczywiście tak, nie będę w stanie odpowiedzieć tutaj, podawać dokładnych, przytoczyć dokładnych danych, czy też dokładnych liczb, ale zapewniam, że są na te środki, ponieważ już z tych środków, które do tej pory oddajemy również.
David, would you like to reply with regards to setup costs?
It's very briefly. I mean, it's not just a setup cost. What is the point of recreating something we already have? One of the things that is very effective about the UK abroad, and there are things, as Neil and others have said, to criticise about the United Kingdom at the present time, but our representation abroad is at the highest standard. And if you speak to the Scottish Whisky Association, for example, without UK embassies around the world, our sales of whisky would plummet. It's because of the work done by UK embassies on behalf of Scotland and the rest of the United Kingdom that we do rather well commercially across the globe. So why abandon that and create what would inevitably, because we're a small country, inevitably be a much smaller operation in fewer countries? So not just the cost, it's the quality of the representation good to have. If I may, I can't help reply to our radical socialists as well. I didn't want to get into cheap shots, but you said why are we on the same side of the Tories? Well, we're in a yes or no campaign. We, as Neil rightly said, have always been on the no side. I don't ask the SNP why they're on the same side as Brian Souter and the Sun newspaper, good friend of the Polish community, the Sun newspaper. We don't compare one side with the other. People have to make a choice of yes or no, and people have decided which side to lie on, regardless of whatever their political opponents lie on. We don't define them based on principle. And on Margaret Thatcher, again, now you've still be up to cheap shots. If you know your history, you'll know that it was SNP MPs voting down a Labour government that brought in Margaret Thatcher in 13 years of Conservative rule. There was a time in the general election that was critical. At the time of the general election actually cost Labour victory.
Okay, I'll get a translation here and then we'll let Derek reply to that and take some